Hello guys and welcome to Cars at 100, and on today's video I have this nice Dodge Charger 392. This car has 470 horsepower. This is the SRT version of the Dodge Charger. There is also a Hellcat version of this car, but this is kind of a mid-ground before Hellcat and Hellcat Red Eye. This car is also not a wide body. This is a regular 392 with a Hemi engine, and we're gonna look at this car from the outside, check this car on the inside, and take a ride and see what this car is all about and why this car is such a popular car for fun driving. So let's not waste any more time and let's get into it. Okay, let's start from the outside first, from the front. As you can see, you have this nice, very serious front of this car. We have this hood scoop here, which is functional. Engine breathes a lot of air in this car to move this horsepower, and we have very nice scat back with the B Racing B. This is iconic from 1970s and up. Dodge has been doing these cars for a while now, and this is the modern version of these cars. There's also wide body version of this car, but this is just a regular version. This is how they started to bringing back the scat back and 392. And as you can see, in terms of the headlights, very futuristic look to it, very modern look. You have fog lights there as well. You have these functional vents that were implemented from 2020 and up, I believe, and you have this very sporty looking front compared to the other Dodge Chargers out there that are also with a 5.7 liter, just a regular Hemi, not with the 392 like this one is. And as we go around, we have these very interesting designs in terms of the how low the car is, and we have the performance tires as well here. We have the Dodge badges here inside the headlight as well. So Dodge takes care of this car in terms of the quality and in terms of how it brings it to the fan base. As we have these tires here, these are all-season high-performance Goodyear tires that are Eagle RSA, and we have 245 45 ZR20 tires on this car. So this is not staggered setup, this is all around same tire, and it's 245 in width with a sidewall of 45 and 20-inch rim. So these are 20-inch rim. We also have this Brembo brake package on this car. You can also get the bigger brakes if you get the more performance version of this car as well, but it's, I think, necessary because this car is over 4,000 pounds and it needs that stopping power. As we go around, you have the 392 Hemi badge there. It's kind of a special for every owner and everybody who owns this car. It's a very unique kind of a proposition compared to the other performance cars on the market. This one is big engine. As we go around, we have nice shapes on this car, kind of bringing back this 1970s vibe. As you can see here, this shape is from the old school muscle cars that were coupes back in the day, but Dodge decided to do this car in a 4-door, and Challenger stayed the 2-door. As we go around, we have this scoop here as well, which is also functional. Kind of, it's pass-through, no gimmicks here. It looks nice. You have the spoiler here, you have the tail lights that are LED tail lights. Owner decided to put these tints here to distinguish this car from the outside, because this car is so popular. You see these tail lights everywhere, and these cars are really have a big fan following. We have the rear view camera here, Dodge badge across the light here. You have a Super B here, as you can see. This is also homage to Super Bs. Dodge had the Super B Chargers and Challengers, I think, back in the day, and they were a very special package car. You have a Charger badge here, and you have two exhausts. These exhaust pipes are very loud. I will include the sound clip as well from the cold start. has a very big trunk. This car is very functional, even though it's low in terms of the clearance on the road. Still, you have a very good feel on the road in terms of the stiffness. You can adjust the car also through the performance pages and modes, which I will show you when we go inside. In order to enter this Dodge Charger SRT 392, we have this key fob here, regular Dodge key fob, which has lock, unlock, twice click for the trunk release, and you have automatic start. So in order to start this car from the outside through the key fob, we press twice and that's it. It will automatically start in winter or in summer if you want to cool off the car, or in winter if you want to warm the car up. It's a very convenient feature, and also, you know, you can jump inside and the car will be ready for you to go. So you also have the remote start, but you have keyless entry as well. So you can keep the key fob in your pocket and you can lock the car through this button here, or unlock it through the sensor behind the door opener handle. And as you can see here, this is a very kind of a sporty feel to it. It's a large door card here, as you can see, and you have stitching here. You have a leather materials, leatherette materials rather, and this car has very nice luxury features to it as well. If it's being a big car, you also have you know, some chrome accents here, kind of accentuating some of the options that this car has. There is no optional sound system on this car. It is a base Alpine sound system, which is not bad as well in this car. It is quite nice, and you have a automatic up and down only for front driver and the passenger seats. You have here options for the side mirror controls as well, and you have pockets here for the book and a bottle holder here as well, and a speaker housing. These seats are very sporty. You have a bolstering here, you have the bolstering up top as well, and also very important, you have the Super B logo here, as you can see. Very nice touch as well, very special feeling. You also have this very sporty steering wheel on this car as well. And if we jump inside, it is a very sporty feel. As you can see, the seats hug me on the top, on the bottom, and we have the pedal shifters here as well. And if we start the car, I'll show you that in a little bit more detail. Once we jump inside from the remote start, when we press the button on the side, we will have the, you know, revolving speedo and tach to show us that the car is ready to go. Also, when we turn off the car and start it back up, we have, as you can see there, a nice Super B with the 392 logo. Very nice special feeling in terms of the design. And as you can see here, we have options for the climate control. Today is a very hot day in Florida, so we're gonna put the, you know, climate control on to cool off this car a little bit. And you have this nice infotainment screen here, which is very good in terms of the touch compared to the other automakers on the market. It is very quick in terms of the inputs, and you have options here for the climate control. You can adjust, not a lot of features in terms of the climate control buttons here, but you can adjust them through these dials, and it's very quick to just navigate through them. As you can see, it's quite fast. And you have drive modes here, and in terms of the performance of this car, you have the launch as well, and you have a parking assist, and you have a traction control button here off. And in terms of the quality of how this car makes you feel, you can adjust many different features. So as you can see here, you can go into different modes and you can adjust how this car feels. And in terms of the options, you can go into steering feel, you can go traction feel, how traction control works in this car, paddle shifters if you want to turn them on or off, transmission in sport, street,
or track, which is if you want to feel this car fully, you put this car in a track mode, but it will not have the stability control and it will slip the back a lot. So if you want to have the car in terms of the precision and control, I wouldn't suggest to put in traction control in the track mode, but at the same time on the street. But at the same time, you would want to feel this car fully, but you still can adjust this. If you go here, if you go to custom, you can adjust everything yourself. As you can see, it's very convenient, very nice, and you can make the car as you want. Everything is adjustable in such a price range as this car is, under $60,000 fully loaded. But this car is particularly not fully loaded. You can also get these features in the not fully loaded SRT 392, which is very good proposition that Dodge brings to the table compared to the other performance cars on the market. You have the tach and speedo here, as you can see, and you have this middle display there, which houses lots of information in terms of the car's behavior, and you can adjust everything, and it's a very good in terms of the adjustment. Dodge FCA does a very good job in bringing many options to the cars and to the owners as well. In terms of the steering wheel, this is not a flat bottom steering wheel that you can get also on this car as an option, but this is a base steering wheel that comes on this car and has a Dodge logo instead of SRT. You also have the same options here, the same pedal shifters, but not the flat bottom, and it's not, I guess, as thick as the SRT version of the steering wheel. It is thicker, but this is plenty enough on a highway and on the road. This is a plenty enough steering wheel for your feel and for the average person. In terms of the transmission, very good transmission lever here. It looks like a pistol shift, or like it reminds me of a little bit of Audi brands out there, and this is a very good transmission in terms of the quality, in terms of the design. You also have the rear view camera there as well, and you have the manual shifting mode here as well in terms of the paddle shifters as well, so you can turn the paddle shifters on or off. It's very convenient in terms of the adjustment. You have rubberized storage section here, and it says here Dodge Brothers, designed in Detroit. So very cool. You have the leather, rubber padded materials here as well, so for them not to rattle. You have two cup holders here. You have the storage here as well. You have a coin holder here as well for your coins. Kind of old school with the new school vibe. And you have two USB options in this car. There is no USB Type-C in this car. You have glove box here. You have two sections. You have rather three sections, 1, 2, 3. And you have a nice 392 with a Super B badge there as well. Soft touch materials on top. You have stitching here, and you have the sunroof here as well. You have a dark headliner, as being a sporty vehicle. I guess more of a sporty cars have this dark headliner compared to the light headliner. And also you have here options for the climate control. As you can see, vents here. This is quite large design in terms of the trim on this car, and as you can hear, this engine sound is very, very cool. Even idling this car, as you can see on the background noise, it is very special feeling. So let's check out this car on the back seats. In terms of the back seats, you can just open the doors. There is no keyless entry in terms of the back doors, but if we jump inside, this seat is almost all the way back, and we have the legroom here. As you can see, I'm 6 feet tall, and as you can see here, I'm almost touching my head on this roof, and it is not that large in terms of the size compared to the size on the inside of this car. I've seen smaller cars with the larger interiors, but it's an average, I would say. You have a heated seats in the back as well. Let's check out the trunk space. In terms of the trunk space, you have the button here to open it, and as you can see here, you have some wiring there for the camera system on the car, and you have the storage hooks here. And overall, I would say it's a quite big trunk and exhaust is idling on the background. Let's check out what's under the hood. Okay, now let's take a ride in this Dodge Charger 392 and let's see what this car is all about. In terms of the driving, this car is very interesting because it's a sporty and yet it's a luxury car as well, because you drive this car every day, and if you want it with these modes, you can choose whether you want it to have a sporty feel or you want it to have the more luxury feel. Now in auto mode, we don't really hear that much of an exhaust. If we just drive like this regularly, under 40 miles an hour, it feels normal on the road. It doesn't feel intimidating or anything. But once you go through the modes and adjust this car accordingly in terms of the sporty feel, this car will give you different feedback, and it will ask you to be more in terms of the inputs, in terms of your driving. And it's interesting because this car combines these two feelings of luxury and sport, but mostly this is a performance car, so let's not fool anybody. And let's go into the sport mode. So the sport mode will put this car into more of a sporty feeling. And as you can see, the exhaust gets louder, the car shifts faster, the steering wheel got a little bit tighter. And in the sport mode, this car turns off the traction control. So you got to be careful because this is a rear-wheel drive 470 plus horsepower car, and you have to be mindful of your inputs and how this car makes you basically ask for more, you know. So you have to understand that this car is not a something to take lightly in terms of as a performance car, and you have to give yourself a learning curve to understand what this car is all about. There is a SRT Hellcat version of this car which has more power with 707 horsepower, and Red Eye Hellcat Red Eye, which has 795, which has 800 horsepower basically in this form of this car. And that's a pretty incredible and crazy at the same time to know that more power is needed when you already have 470 horsepower. In terms of the driving and seating, in terms of the comfort, it is very comfortable car. Also, you can option this car with the adaptive suspension. Full potential of this car is given only when you go into track mode of this car, but you have to be mindful with the traction control once again. If we go into auto mode, this car becomes different. This car becomes more understandable in terms of the power, and you can use this car every day if you want to. And if it is more of a daily car for most of the people than weekend toy. I think that is reserved for more of a cars that have Hellcat kind of model range for this car and Hellcat Red Eye. There's also a Demon version that was only available on the Challengers and had a coupe version basically only, and that car had insane amount of power with the 808 or 840 horsepower if you put the race gas into that. You had the option for that. But generally, it's a very comfortable car. The steering feel is very good. We can also adjust the steering feel. We can go into mode here, and we can just go into track mode, or we can go to sport mode, a little bit tighter. If we go to track mode, it's gonna be more tighter. You know, you can use this car as a street car, but as well you can take this car to the track. You can put different tires on this car. A lot of people put wider tires to have more traction when they want to go into full track mode. It is a car that is quite fun. Just to sum this up on the last note of this video, so if you're thinking about getting this car, it would be a very good choice. And I'll see you next time. Stay loving cars.